Our reporting on people dealing with deplorable living conditions is nothing new. WTOL 11 has taken you inside the problems that exist at Greenbelt Apartments as well as Ashland Manor in Toledo.
Many of the people living in troubled facilities often feel hopeless, but there is protection. Andre Norrell spoke with Fair Housing about this and joins us. Andre, tell us more about rent escrow.
Well, Jeff and Kaylee, rent escrow allows you to put your monthly rent into an account through the courts. You do that instead of having to pay the property owner you're having troubles with. And you know what? You can't get evicted for doing it. I've done a few stories about the living conditions at Ashland Manor. When talking to tenants, some said they thought about going through this process but didn't know how. So we've put together a step-by-step guide to help anyone with issues and to help you decide if this is for you.
Horrifying. Scary.
That's Sandra Glosh describing how she feels about her then structurally damaged North Toledo home. She's been through the rent escrow process twice while living there. The first time was in 2020, dealing with a leaking roof, and more recently, damage to the front and back porch.
Steps were crumbling and didn't know what to do, and I called Fair Housing and asked them if they could help me.
The Fair Housing Center team recommended she go through rent escrow to get it fixed. CEO George Thomas says in the past year, they helped more than 50 others do the same.
We've helped people file those cases, try to get money back to them.
While the Fair Housing Center can help some people, this process is something you can do yourself. So here's how. First thing to ask is rent escrow for me? Well, that depends on what the issue is.
Does this condition make it unfit or uninhabitable in some way? Or does it violate the lease agreement? Or does it violate a local building code or health code? If it's falling into one of those categories, good chance you could escrow your rent for it.
Another thing to keep in mind, you need to continue to pay your rent on time to the landlord during these beginning steps.
There's a process though, and you're gonna have to be current in your rent before you even start that process.
So now to step one. You want to send a letter to your landlord with the things you need fixed, and you want to keep a copy of it for your records.
If somebody comes to pick up your rent or you have a spot where you deliver your rent, that could be the place where you give the notice. For a lot of people, it's the property manager. You give them this written notice that says these are the repairs I need.
So now you wait. You wait to see if these repairs are done within 30 days. But you might not have to wait that long if it's a safety issue. Take Glosh's porch, for example.
It doesn't seem to me like you'd have to wait the full 30 days for the landlord to confirm whether or not they're going to be repairing it or start the repairs in some way, because that's a safety issue there.
Now you want to get the rent escrow paperwork from your local court. You can usually find it online. Fill it out, and then you'll take the completed form and your month's rent to your local municipal court clerk of courts. Filing this is free.
People need to be really careful to read through carefully, complete all those documents correctly.
And that's it. You'll just want to make sure you keep paying your rent to the court on time and do as the court says. Thomas says the court will reach out to you about a hearing date where you'll present your evidence. Then, a settlement agreement will need to be made between both parties. Thomas also says you could get some of your money back at the end of this.
If the landlord fully complies, fixes everything right away, they might get all of the money, but if the tenant had to live in really difficult conditions for a while, maybe it makes sense for the tenant to receive some of those funds as well.
Of the more than $3,500 Glosh put in escrow, she got $1,500 back from the court. She says there were times her landlord made some repairs before the hearing and then wanted her to release the rent. In other words, have her drop the case. But Fair Housing said no.
When it's released, it's released. You know, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing.
Now that was a lot all at once. So if you need to refer back to these steps, we'll have all of them on our website. Just click on this story. Jeff and Kaylee.
Andre, man, that was fantastic.
Incredible,
Yeah.
Andre. But what if people are worried about retaliation from the landlord during this process and if they find trouble getting a lease renewed?
Yeah, Kaylee, good question. Thomas from the Fair Housing Center did say sometimes they will put a lease renewal as a part of that settlement agreement made through the court. That prevents the landlord from not renewing a lease. Reporting in studio, Andre Norrell, WTOL 11.